I'm Bo Maddox.
I'm Robert Ortegon.
This is Collateral Cinema.
What makes you think you can bullshit your way into my head? Like every other pencil-neck piece of shit!
Welcome to Collateral Cinema, the only movie podcast that matters, where we focus on good movies, bad movies, and everything else in between in the world of cinema. We're podcasting straight from somewhere in South Texas, and yes, my friends, we are a 420-friendly podcast, so smoke 'em if you got 'em, my friends. Smoke 'em if you got 'em. How's it going, Robert?
Hello, everything's good with me. How you doing?
Yeah, it's totally good. And this movie that we're doing is something that you chose, right?
Yes, I did.
All right, and that movie is the 2007 horror/carsploitation flick by the great Quentin Tarantino, Death Proof. This was part of the Grindhouse duo of films. It came out in the summer of that year. And it included Planet Terror, which was Robert Rodriguez's kind of zombie flick, I guess you could say. And that was a pretty fun movie.
Yeah,
honestly.
That was pretty good.
I mean, he was made by the guy who made From Dusk Till Dawn, you know. Good stuff. And it had a bunch of trailers by other directors such as Eli Roth and Edgar Wright and Rob Zombie. And I believe Robert Rodriguez did the Machete one. And also there was the Hobo with a Shotgun trailer. That's a movie that is a really, really fun little pastiche of exploitation movies. Have you ever heard of it, Robert?
I've never seen it. I've only seen it in your collection, really.
Oh, man, it's in my collection, and it's got Rutger Hauer in it, and goddamn, it's a fun movie, man. Honestly, I would argue it's maybe a little more fun than this movie. I mean, this isn't what I would call one of Quentin Tarantino's best works.
I don't think he would either.
No, he doesn't, as a matter of fact. But it just doesn't hit the same notes that most all of his other works actually do. I mean, I'm not really sure why. Maybe it's just the way that the characters are written. You know, I mean, you rarely find anything to really go with character-wise. And that's in both groups of women. I mean, you feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
Seriously.
Well, Kurt Russell's character was actually really brilliant.
Oh, yeah. Kurt Russell was amazing in this movie. I mean, just starting off with the actors and the characters. I mean, Stuntman Mike himself, he's somewhat compelling, I guess. I mean, it's a different take on the usual quote-unquote slasher villain, you know?
Mm.
I mean, what do you think about his use of a car as a weapon?
I think he just invented that himself, really, because I guess the stunt industry is dying off and everybody's using CGI, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, there's not a whole lot of practical car effects anymore, which is amazing because, I mean, I know that you put a lot of people's lives at risk sometimes with it, but, you know, I mean, that comes with the territory. I mean, stunt people know that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just part of their craft. It's part of the art of it.
Also, the insurance companies are probably getting pissed off.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah. And, I mean, unfortunately, there was that thing with Quentin Tarantino and Uma Thurman in Kill Bill where apparently they pretty much threw her into a car, made her do a car stunt, and she got injured.
Yeah.
That's not cool. It's like, I mean, who was on set that day that allowed that? What stunt coordinator allowed that to happen?
No,
I mean, Jesus Christ, people. Jesus Christ, Quentin, come on now. I mean, I think he said that he wasn't on set for that or something. He didn't, like...
Yeah.
greenlight that, but I don't know. Yeah, that's a whole nother issue.
Those movies are long.
Entirely.
Like, Kill Bill 2 is really long.
Oh, it's a long ass movie. Longer than Star Wars, right?
No. Jeez. Just talking the whole time, really.
Well, longer than Terminator 2, I think, right?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. And Zoe Bell, she's the lead character in the second half of the film, and she plays herself. She's a stunt woman. She was Uma Thurman's double in Kill Bill. Like,
Yes.
do you know what scenes she was in Kill Bill?
It's been a long time since I've seen those movies.
Oh yeah, I mean it's been a while since I've seen them as well. You know, I mean, they're pretty fun. Those are fun movies.
So much blood everywhere.
I know. I mean, yeah, he did. I mean, Quentin Tarantino, he just wanted to make a straight up Shambari film, you know, and I think he succeeded in that. Threw in a little bit of kung fu as well, but I mean, Zoe Bell, I mean, she straight up put her life on the line in this movie. Playing the ship's mask game is like that's all practical stunt work right there. Like, I mean, could you imagine being strapped to the hood of a car like that, trying to hold on like that?
That's old school. That's old school work, dude.
That's a fucking death trap. I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, but she's really hardcore in this film. I mean, she really gives it her all. I mean, even so, I mean, she's still written. Her character is still written by Quentin Tarantino, so it still kind of feels a little off, as do most of the characters in this film. But I mean, still, just as playing herself, I mean, she's really fun. You know, she's really just into cars and stunt work and making movies and shit. I mean. She's pretty much a projection of Quentin Tarantino's cinemaphileness, you know?
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of what she is. She's kind of that stand-in for just his love of movies and filmmaking, kind of. And that's what that comes across as a little bit, you know?
And we'll get into the ending part, I guess.
Oh, the ending part is great. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, Rosario Dawson was in this movie. And apparently her character... I mean, she's a kind of a foul mouth a little bit, right?
Yeah.
I mean, was it her or was it the other girl that was supposed to be kind of a little XP of Samuel L. Jackson a little bit? Like, I think that's how Tarantino wrote that character.
Almost like a Jackie Brown or something.
Something like that, right? I mean, I'm not really sure. I can't put my finger on it, but I mean, I think that I heard somewhere along the line that one of those characters was kind of modeled after Samuel L. Jackson, just kind of a female variant, a little bit. And Mary Elizabeth Winstead, who does she play in this film?
Mary Elizabeth Winstead. I think is she that cheerleader girl in the second?
I think she might be the cheerleader girl.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure. Correct us if we're wrong, people.
I think I've seen her in a few movies.
Give us a comment on the Podbean account. I mean, I'm not sure. Yeah, she may have been the cheerleader. I mean, if so, that's actually kind of an interesting character. You know, like she's kind of meant to be this atypical exploitation film female character.
Yeah, she's a cheerleader.
She's the cheerleader.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I'm looking at a picture of her now. It's like, yeah, that's totally her.
When they switch from the 74 Mustang to the Challenger.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, yeah, she's actually very interesting. I mean, and she gets left behind. You know, like she's an atypical exploitation film character, and she's not the one that's thrown into the spotlight there. She's kind of left behind whenever they leave in the Vanishing Point car.
Yeah.
You know? So, I mean, there may be a little bit of symbolism there with her character, you know?
It's like the slutty cheerleader.
Well, not so much slutty. She's
just an actor. She plays an actor.
She plays an actress, yeah, straight up.
Die, cheerleader, die.
All cheerleaders must die. Oh, that movie. We won't get into that right now, you know. I mean, I think Lucky McKee had a hand in that. But I mean, Rose McGowan, bless her heart, you know, she's in this movie. Like, I mean, she's been in the news a lot lately. I mean, she's kind of spearheaded the Me Too movement a little, like mostly. Whatever God you worship, bless her for that, you know. I mean, we do support that, her involvement in that here. But I mean, she plays Stuntman Mike's first actual victim in this movie. right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she's the blonde-haired girl, and she's killed in a rather frightening way. Like, he just straight up speeds down the street, like, and she's just freaking out. She's like, please stop, please stop. And then he's like, okay. And
Cracks her
she
face
doesn't have a seat, much less a seat belt. So, yeah, she gets fucked up. She gets, like, just royally fucked up. But her character is very interesting. She's pretty much like a foil to Stuntman Mike, kind of. Right?
Yeah.
She's kind of a foil. I mean, she calls him on his bullshit constantly.
He's just telling story after story, really.
Yeah, and she's just like, are you serious? you're so full of shit. But I mean, essentially, she still ends up going home with her. But of course, she doesn't make it home.
Yeah.
She goes home with Kurt Russell. But I mean, it is kind of interesting as a first kill, you know, because she's actually the one woman in that entire bar who has at least some bullshit deflector on, more or less, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, she's pretty much calling out all the fucking tropes that Kurt Russell is falling into. I mean, when you really think about it.
Yeah, she knows he's full of shit, really.
Yeah, but still, she ends up going home with him, in quotes, home. But still, I mean, that's a pretty compelling scene. And also, you know, Kurt Russell breaks the fourth wall a little bit there. I mean, whenever, like, just kind of winks at the camera. It's just like, oh, okay, yeah, everybody knows what's going on here.
Death trap car.
Yeah, and who's this last actress you have written here, Robert? Who is that? Who did she play in this film?
Oh, she's the one with the tire.
She was Butterfly.
She's the one dancing.
Oh yeah. She's
Dance.
Butterfly.
Yeah.
That's who she is. It's like, yeah, she's kind of a weird character when you really think about it, because I mean, she's kind of set up to be the final girl in the whole slasher angle of the movie. But I mean, she not only does not fit that role, she's completely obliterated. I mean, her face is ripped off by the tire of the very car that is the title of the movie. It's pretty much like Tarantino just ripping that trope a new asshole, kind of.
And the leg falls off, too. The tire goes right through her face.
Oh, man, it just goes straight through there. I mean, it's a great practical effect. I mean, it really is. I mean, that whole sequence is really, really interesting because of the different angles it shows. It shows what happens to every single girl in that car.
Yeah.
Like, one of them gets just shot through the fucking windshield.
I think he's punching it over 100, and then he hits the lights.
He just hits the lights out of nowhere, yeah, and then just... It's a pretty immaculate car crash and very gory. I mean, Jungle Julia, that's her name?
Yeah.
Like she loses a limb, and that's a very realistic effect as well. I mean, you see that thing kind of just flop on the asphalt.
Jesus Christ.
It just flops around a little bit, man, and she just gets fucked up.
And everybody else is wasted except for him.
Except for him, yeah. He's a teetotaler.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's on purpose, you know? It's like that's so he can have that excuse. It's like, well, I wasn't drinking. They were totally drinking. It's like, I mean, in the end, I mean, what could the law actually prove?
Nothing.
They couldn't prove anything. I mean, they said as much when the Paul and Junior, the sheriff from Planet Terror, and also I think Uma Thurman's character is in there, right? She makes an appearance in
the sheriff from Dusk Till Dawn too. That's the same guy.
Yeah, I think it's the same guy. Yeah, I mean, he's also the sheriff in Planet Terror.
Nice.
As well. And yeah, they have a brief discussion about Stuntman Mike, saying it was like, look, he's in there fucked up and still alive, and I got like 4 young women just slaughtered. It's a goddamn massacre. And it pretty much shows that they know what he's doing. The law knows what he's doing, and they know that they can't do anything about it.
They can't prove nothing.
Yeah. It's like, what can they prove? You know, there's nobody on that stretch of road that's a witness to it. Mm-hmm. It's like everybody involved is dead. You know, I mean, what can be done?
Nothing.
I mean, seriously.
That's my boy.
free. Gotta stay close, my name and hold tight. Sing and shout, just wrap around the crowd and hold tight. Shut your eyes, girl, you set me up for forget the other guys. You'll never fall. Each time you go, hold tight, hold tight, hold tight. Hold tight, make me feel what you say is for real. And hold tight, feel your shivering and my feeling. Hold tight, cable fly, swing it, no swing it high. We're gonna make the sky. You'll never fall.
But I mean, in the end, he does get his comeuppance, you know, and that has a lot to do with just the different type of women that he decides to stalk.
Yeah.
You know.
You think Sigourney Weaver for that one?
Oh yeah, hell yeah, dude.
All
Totally.
women badasses. Yeah.
Now, this movie was made on a budget of $53 million. Now, its box office is a little disappointing.
Wasn't too great. Yeah.
$30.7 million. I mean, that's painful because, you know, I mean, it's an interesting story, I guess, you know. I mean, the car accident scene is pretty cool. The car chase scene, which we will go into here in a little while, that's going to be that's a very interesting scene. But, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it was just because even for a Quentin Tarantino film, it was just too dialogue heavy. Far too dialogue heavy. Even for him, I mean, he's known for being dialogue heavy. Especially in the first half of the movie. It feels like it takes forever to get to even that first kill with Rose McGowan. You know, it feels like it takes like 30 years to get to that.
He's all at the bar eating his nachos, right?
Just eating his big old plate, just slopping that shit down his fucking... Slopping that shit down his fucking gullet.
No beer.
No beer.
No alcohol at all.
Oh, God. That's...
Basically, he looks like Burt Reynolds. You know? That's what I think.
Oh, man. Burt Reynolds would have been great in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
As Stuntman Mike. He would have been fantastic. Not that Kurt Russell wasn't great. I mean, Kurt Russell is easily the best character in the entire movie.
It's perfect.
Maybe next to Rose McGowan. And maybe to a degree Rosario Dawson. I think she was maybe the third best.
Clerks 2, right?
Actor.
Yeah.
Oh, man, she was great in
she's
Clerks
great.
2. Maybe we'll get to that movie at some point. Would like to do Clerks.
First one.
Of
Yeah.
course.
Oh, billboard. So what's the plan, man?
Margaritas and Mexican food at Hueros. Did you call Raphael and tell him we're coming?
Of course.
He's so good.
Okay, is Christian Simonson gonna be there?
Bet your ass he is. He's gonna be there with Jesse Letterman.
Christian Simonson, the filmmaker's in town. He's got a big thing for Julia.
If he had a big thing for me, he'd fucking call me as opposed to disappearing for 6 months, and he'd get his ass down here more often than he does. And on my birthday, give me a fucking phone call.
Oh, billboard. Yeah, but you got put those legs of yours around him and it's all over.
Yeah, well, when I'm redecorating his house in the hills that I am also living in, I'll let you know it worked. So, margaritas, Mexican food, Agueros, touch base with Chris and Jesse, tell them about later, and make damn sure they come. Those other guys will be waiting for us to join them at the Texas Chili Parlor. Oh, shit. Speaking of which, what happened to you and Nate last night?
Well, you know, not much. We just fucking met each other. I mean, if you don't bust their balls a little bit, they're never gonna respect you.
Okay, we're pretty clear on what it is you didn't do. How about enlightening us on what it is you did do?
Nothing to write home about. We just made out on the couch for about 20 minutes.
Dressed, half dressed, or naked?
Dressed. They said we made out. We didn't do the thing.
Excuse me for living, but what is the thing?
You know, it's everything but.
They call it the thing?
I call it the thing.
Do you guys like the thing?
They like it better than no thing.
Okay, I want to get back to what it is you did do. So you're making out on the couch with Nate, right?
Correct.
It's his couch. Is it the one in your hotel room?
What am I, stupid over here? Mine.
Were you making out sitting up or lying down?
We started sitting up. We worked our way to lying down.
The plot thickens. Who was on top?
I was straddling him.
What else?
That was it. So we made out for a little while on the couch. And I said, okay, I'm gonna go to bed now, so it's time for you to leave. And then he starts to whine. Oh, right now? And I said, yep, right now, let's go. And he says, well, wait, what about this? And I said, no. He said, well, what do you mean no? You don't even know what I'm gonna say. And I said, I already know what you're gonna say. And the answer is no. He said, well, how can you say you know what I'm gonna say? And I said, because you're gonna say, let's just go to sleep together. We don't gotta do nothing. Just cuddle, sleep next to each other, wake up in the morning together. No. You're gonna leave, but I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, fuck Nate. I mean, he's cute and all, but Jesse Letterman's gonna be all over her.
Jesse, let him
Remember, no hooking up tonight. You can hang out with them, you can make out with them, but no hooking up with them.
What do you think about Kurt Russell's character?
I think he's got a fetish for the stunt world and women. So he puts them both together and he becomes the ultimate serial killer.
He gets actual sexual thrill from getting into car crashes and killing these hapless women.
Yeah, like this movie's based on gender mostly.
It's very much a kind of a battle between the genders a little
Between
bit.
the sexes.
I mean, but he's a very predatory character, you know, which I don't know, maybe makes him more prescient nowadays. You know, I mean, what with the Harvey Weinstein thing, you know, that whole unfortunate scenario. Oh God, just disgusting entirely. But I mean, yeah, he pretty much just hunts these women down, you know, taunts them pretty much, like shows up, like he's always seen there with the women that he ultimately kills, you know, and he still gets away with it.
How does he get these Polaroids of them? He's just following them around the whole time.
Yeah, seriously. It's like, I mean, there's no indication that he's using social media or anything like that to track them. I mean, he seems pretty old school about what he's doing. He doesn't even seem to have a cell phone.
No.
Much less. And there are cell phones in this movie.
Yeah, the flip phone.
Yeah. She has like Jungle Julia, she has a flip phone and she's sending and receiving text messages. And that's a point that for some reason is never brought up again.
Yeah. That was kind of a mistake.
Interesting little tangent right there that was never resolved. Yeah, but I mean, Kurt Russell, I mean, he does bring a bit of grittiness to the character, you know, that it's kind of reminiscent of his Snake Plissken character. You know, just not nearly as cynical. He's a little more coy and just kind of winking at the camera a little bit, you know.
That's
it's like
what Kurt Reynolds would do.
Yeah, this is totally Kurt Russell knowing what type of movies he's in and just kind of rolling with it. And it is kind of fun to see him just kind of ham it up a little bit, you know. Like in that scene where he's talking to Rose McGowan over the plate of nachos, and you know, she's asking him, "It's like, why are you here if you're a teetotaler? What do you get out of being in a bar?" You know, and he does give a pretty succinct explanation. You know, it's like, hey, there's nachos, there's company of women. You know, I can talk to guys like, you know, Quentin Tarantino's character, the bartender. I get to talk to dudes like this. It's like, I mean, what's not to love?
Talk about the stunt world, I guess.
Yeah, get to just talk about bullshit, man. I mean, and in the end, I mean, you go to a bar, it doesn't mean that you have to drink anything.
No.
I mean, that's why they have, you know, virgin virgin drinks. They have soda that you can drink. You can get a Cuba Libre, which is literally just soda and lime. That's literally a soda with a twist of lime. That's a Cuba Libre. And, I mean, that kind of gives him a little bit of a smart demeanor, but what becomes problematic about that is later on when he's actually defeated, all of that badass angle that he played up, it's pretty much thrown by the wayside. Like, he becomes a little pussy as soon as somebody stands up to him and actually injures him. He's a little coward. It's like, that's a little disheartening. It's like, I don't know. I felt like he could take, a bullet a little better than that, you know? I mean, he's a stuntman, He's probably had some crashes where he's experienced worse.
Exactly.
He's probably
leg injuries. Yeah.
He's probably been to the brink of death, and he's crying over pouring alcohol in a bullet wound. Not that that's anything that's any small thing. That still sucks. I wouldn't want to have to pry a fucking bullet out of my arm or
Mr.
leg.
Tough Guy is crying like a baby, though.
I would probably cry like a little bitch, but I mean, I don't know. When you're talking about a character like what Kurt Russell's supposed to be, it just doesn't add up. I mean, it seems like he should be a little more ruthless than that. And and he even gets a little silly near the end, before they beat him up. Like, he comes out like, he says like, "Oh, that was great." He's like totally nerding out over this car chase that he just put them through. He damn near killed them like 30 times, and he's just like, "That was great, ladies," and they rightfully shoot his ass. Rightfully so. I wouldn't be affable with him either.
Yeah.
I would just be like, "Nah, fuck you." It's like, I mean, no doubt. I mean,
try to kill us with a car.
Yeah. It's like, that's as good as pointing a fucking gun at us. I mean, seriously. I mean, his choice of homicide weapon is pretty fucked when you think about it.
Yeah.
I mean, he took out 4 people in one hit. If that was with a gun, that would be considered a mass shooting. I mean,
yeah, you're right.
I mean, he's a mass murderer pretty much. And he does get his comeuppance,
Everything comes around.
Yeah, but I mean, in the first half of the movie, he does fit the slasher archetype pretty well.
Stalker,
the
like
stalker,
1980s, 70s.
I mean, yeah. And I mean, it does all kind of work towards the tropes of the slasher movie, and of course, that's completely subverted. But yeah, the first half that is reminiscent of 70s and 80s horror. I mean, what kind of movies do you think it best evokes? What specific movies do you think Tarantino was drawing from?
The creepy serial killer that stalks him in the beginning, like Sorority House Massacre,
that
type.
Yeah.
Where you see the killer's face the whole time.
Yeah, it's not so much a masked killer type of slasher.
Yeah.
It's not so much that. It's almost kind of like Slumber Party Massacre. I mean, you see who the killer is. I mean, he's not concealed. I mean, also it's kind of similar to the first half of The Burning Moon, by Olaf Ittenbach. You see the murderer the whole time. I mean, he goes on a date with the main designated final girl. And also there's another movie called Angst, which is kind of a little play on the slasher genre and home invasion genre, that you see the character, you're pretty much from the perspective of the killer.
Yeah.
It's pretty much told from his perspective.
There's a lot of 80s movies like that.
There's a lot of 80s movies like that. I guess you can kind of say Maniac is sort of... Maniac is sort of down that route. And maybe you can kind of argue that there's some giallo elements here, like Dario Argento or Mario Bava, kind of. It's kind of, I mean, some of those movies did kind of end up in the grindhouse circuit. So, I mean, it makes sense that they would kind of be evoked here. But yeah, I mean, I think that a movie that probably better exemplifies that is probably It Follows. That movie kind of fits the late 70s, early 80s horror trope, kind of the slasher genre, a little better than this movie. I mean, of course, this movie is more playful, is more of a wink and a nod to the cinema-going crowd, more or less. But I think that the first half of the movie does a good job of evoking that particular aura. I mean, and honestly, I think like Black Christmas would probably be another good example of what this movie evokes a little bit. It kind of has that angle to it.
That's creepy. The kid's in the attic the whole time. Like,
but the second half of the movie, that's pretty much a straight up carsploitation film. Now, Robert, you're very much a car nut, and you're pretty huge into this genre. Why don't you kind of explain the genre a little bit, like go into like some of the main movies that people should see from it, like some
original,
of the best actors from that era.
Like John Saxton movies, car chase movies, and 1970s Burt Reynolds, like Hooper. I don't know if you've seen that. Like
I don't think I've seen Hooper.
Smoking. This is right after the first Smokey and the Bandit.
I've seen Smokey and the Bandits back in the day. I've seen that shit.
The first one's the best, right?
Oh, man. The first one is great.
And then, like, Dirty Mary, Crazy Larry.
I've heard of that movie. Is that...
Old school.
I mean, what's the general gist of that film?
I think it's based on a true story.
Oh, yeah?
It's almost like a Bonnie and Clyde thing. But at the end, they steal a Challenger, and the ending, you got to see the ending.
Oh, wow. And this movie, Death Proof, really alludes to Vanishing Point a lot.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, what are your thoughts on that film and how it plays into Death Proof?
Well, the same 1970 Challenger RT they use. And the chase scene is pretty great. It's almost exactly like it.
Oh, yeah.
And what is that, a 69 Charger that was chasing?
I think so. I mean, it's pretty much the exact Vanishing Point car. I mean, I think Tarantino made a point of getting that car.
He's pretty much, Vanishing Point, he was just a runner, right? He was just taking the car back through Nevada.
Yeah, it was something like that. I mean, I'm not that familiar with the plot of Vanishing Point, honestly. I mean, I don't really think I've seen Vanishing Point.
I've seen it a few times.
I mean, I just know that this movie really, like...
That's the car.
That's the car from the film. I know that.
Damn good car. I think it's like a Challenger RT Hemi.
Yeah.
And the 69 Charger is like a 446 pack or something.
Yeah. Wow. So it's a pretty supercharged muscle car.
Yeah. Those things would do 160 stock.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, both of them.
And what about the car that Kurt Russell uses? Like, is it similar? Like, how is it different from the Vanishing Point car?
His is all decked out with a roll cage. It's basically a death machine.
Yeah, it's a actual stunt car. Like
the way he built it, I don't think he could die because, back then they were just lap belts.
Yeah,
and they didn't have any airbags. See, he put the whole harness in his and a cage.
Mm-hmm.
So he's protected.
He's well protected. Yeah, definitely. And I mean those cars. I mean they have pretty sturdy construction as far as their frame and everything.
You can crack your whole mouth on the steering wheel alone, dude. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean you see what happened to Rose McGowan. I mean fuck.
On the dash, dude.
Oh, that sucks, man. I mean her face is pretty much split open. It's like I wouldn't want to be caught crashing that thing.
Fuck no, dude. Yeah.
At least not without the modifications that he made.
Exactly. Take the stock lap belts off and get a harness.
Definitely. I mean, that's pretty much like a straight racing harness.
It'll keep you
NASCAR
confined to the seat without moving anything.
Wow.
That's what you need.
And what kind of car is it? The Death Proof car?
There's two of them. You see, the Chevy Nova, the 1970 Chevy Nova.
Yeah.
Was it the one with the skull on it and the duck?
Yeah. That's the first one that we see when...
It's the first Death Proof car.
Yeah, in the first half of the film, that's what we see.
1970s Chevy Nova.
Because, he crashes it halfway through. So, that car is pretty much cashed.
It's done.
It's total.
Twisted. Everything's fucked up.
Yeah. It's been used for its purpose.
Give him a few more months. He's already got another car together. Right?
Yeah, man. It's like, man, he must have like some type of residuals from some movies, to fucking afford that,
Jesus Christ.
I mean, shit. I mean, it's definitely just good old school car movie nerd shit.
TV shows like Smokey and the Bandit. No, Dukes of Hazzard.
Yeah.
Starsky and Hutch.
Yeah, those had a lot of those had a lot of interesting car chases in them. I think even like the A-Team had some interesting.
Yeah, they did.
Car chases. Yeah. With that big ass van.
Yeah, the A-Team van.
The A-Team van.
Mr. T.
Oh fuck, man.
Pity the Fool.
I was watching that with our coworker Dave the other night. It's like, hell yeah, man. It's like you gotta respect with Mr. T. You gotta respect a man who will just go into a fight and not even take his jewelry and his goddamn chains off. I mean, you gotta respect a man that'll do that. Like straight up. So seriously, you don't fuck with that.
No.
It's like that is a man that does not give a fuck. He will fuck his chains up to put you down.
Also a character in Rocky 3.
Yeah, the character in Rocky 3, he fights with his chains on, huh?
Does
he?
I don't think so.
If he does, that would be amazing.
But he's like the same character in every movie, right? Like,
What
I didn't like was the 18 movie with the what's his name playing him.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Have you been following us?
You saw my car, I saw your legs. Now look, I ain't stalking y'all, but I didn't say I wasn't a wolf.
He's got charm.
Is there anybody in this place you could vouch for to give me a ride home?
Fair lady, your chariot awaits.
He's got style.
Do I frighten you? Is it my scar?
It's your car.
And he's got a set of wheels.
Is it safe?
Oh, it's better than safe. It's death-proof.
To die for.
Well, Pam, which way are you going? Left or right?
Right.
Ah, that's too bad.
Why?
Well, because it was a 50-50 shot on whether you'd be going left or right. But since you're going the other way, I'm afraid you're gonna have to start getting scared immediately.
From Quentin Tarantino, the director of Reservoir Dogs, Pulp Fiction, and Kill Bill, comes Death Proof.
This car is 100% death-proof. Only to get the benefit of it, honey, you really need to be sitting in my seat.
If he likes the way you move, then he decides
I gotta catch me my other girlfriend.
the way you die. His method is brutal. His weapon is speed. But his latest targets are about to fight back.
Let's kill this bastard.
You know I can't let you go.
Quentin Tarantino's Death Proof.
Ladies, that was fun.
A Grindhouse feature.
But yeah, I mean, the second half of this movie, I mean, for most of it, Zoe Bell is strapped to the the front hood of the car, and they're playing a game called Ship's Mast. Now, that entails pretty much somebody on the front of the hood holding on to two straps and just basically trying to hold on for dear life as they just race around on the goddamn fucking road.
It's basically how they get off, you know?
It's like, I would be terrified, man.
Oh, yeah.
I barely want to like stick my body halfway out of the window of a moving vehicle, much less, you know,
Climb onto the hood of a
climb
car.
onto the hood of it while it's driving. I mean, that's frightening. I mean, there's people that have been killed doing shit like that. Yeah, I mean, don't try this shit at home, kids.
Do not do it.
Do not do it. It is just not worth it. These are professionals. Zoe Bell is a professional. She's been doing it for a while. She knows what's up. Don't know if Rosario Dawson's been doing this shit for a while, but I mean, fuck.
Probably got a stunt chick, too.
Yeah,
It's her own stunt girl.
Yeah. But I mean, there's a great use of practical stunt effects in this movie. I mean, Quentin Tarantino is known for just absolutely detesting CGI, and of course that plays into the whole Ship's Mast game. I mean, Zoe Bell straight up puts her life on the line, and there's even that scene where, you know, they crash for a minute, she flies off, and everybody is just like, their heart is pounding. They're like, oh,
Is she alive?
Please be alive. Please be alive. And then she just jumps up and she says, I'm okay.
I'm good.
It's like, yes.
Damn.
Like, that was a very celebratory moment right there. I was just like, oh my God.
Oh, God, that
It's
was
like,
crazy.
she's not
Yeah.
even fucked up. And then they just decide to go fuck that ass up.
Turn it around on him.
Turn it
completely.
around on him, man. Even though, you know, I mean, the Ship's Mast thing, I mean, that was really thrilling. But when they actually try to fuck Stuntman Mike up, I mean, That's really, really crazy, you know, because that's after they shot him, right?
Yeah, right after.
That's right after they shot him. He's treating his wound with the liquor and everything.
Crying like a little bitch.
Crying like a little bitch.
Yeah.
And he looks in his rearview mirror, and sure enough, there they are right behind him, and they just ram into him, and which is interesting because it kind of mirrors when he actually rammed into the car of the first group of girls that he killed.
And now they're chasing him down. He's running for his life.
Yeah, I mean, it's a shot that's kind of reminiscent of that, you know, which is kind of interesting in its own right. And I mean, he just freaks out after that. Like he bashes his head in the steering wheel, right?
Yeah. I think they start beating him with a pipe they found.
Yeah, straight up Zoe Bell just runs up and starts bashing him while he's in the car and he's trying to drive away.
His face is right there with the pipe.
I mean, does he stop after that, or do they have to drive him down again?
Oh, they run him down.
Yeah, I mean, that's when they do that jump where old girl's just like, I'm gonna tap that ass one more time. And it's like, do it, girl, do it.
They flip him over.
Oh, they fuck him up.
Damn. Just like take turns beating the shit out of him in a circle.
Oh, fuck, man. It's good shit, man. It's good shit.
Be careful, my right arm's broken! Oh, you want some skin? Oh, my God! You're my fucking ass!
Quentin Tarantino, he said that this is, I think we've mentioned this before, he said this is not his best movie ever. Like, he said that he may have over-tweaked it. I think that was officially what he said. He was like, yeah, this may be my worst film ever. And when you really prop it up against the other Tarantino movies, I mean, it does kind of miss some pretty serious marks. And I think a lot of it is because he's just trying so hard to get that exploitation vibe. Like both in the horror element and then it flips it up to be the car exploitation element. I think maybe in some ways that kind of confused the narrative a little bit. I mean, it was an interesting way to flip everything around, but it's like, I also kind of feel it's like if you wanted to make a horror movie, make a horror movie. If you wanted to make a car movie, make a car movie.
You just put two things together, really. Yeah.
Like you could have or he could have made that a 2-movie thing where it was like, you know, you have one that's more of a horror film, and then the sequel is more of a car exploitation film.
Yeah.
Like he could have done that. I mean, it could have been kind of like the genre shift that Rob Zombie did with between House of a Thousand Corpses and Devil's Rejects.
Jesus,
a little bit. It could have been like that little shift, you know, from a campy, basically horror ride kind of movie to something more gritty and disturbing, more like a road movie. You know, I mean, he could have done something like that, I kind of feel. But honestly, he squeezed it into this movie. And like I said, I think it may have lost something in translation along the line there as far as like the movie-going public is concerned.
It's almost like, what were you trying to do, you know?
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah, it's like he was trying to do too much. Or maybe he didn't do enough with either parts of the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It's hard to really put your finger on it, you know? I mean, it's dialogue heavy even for a Tarantino movie, like we mentioned before, but there's kind of a reason for that. I mean, it's because the exploitation movies in the grindhouse circuit, they were kind of like that, you know? Because it was expensive to film action and gore stuff back then. You know, it was expensive to do so and make it look convincing, so they had to kind of pad a lot of shit in between, you know, and that's kind of what Tarantino was evoking with this, especially with a lot of the shit that goes down in the bar in the first half, the horror half of the movie, right? Yeah. I mean, I guess it's a serviceable film, you know, from a technical standpoint. I mean, it does look the part of a kind of an exploitation, old school grindhouse film, at least for the first half, but then it's kind of abandoned.
Yeah.
You know, the whole cigarette burns, the scratches and everything.
Exactly. 70s.
Eventually, that's kind of just thrown by the wayside by the time the car exploitation part of it begins, you know. It starts to feel more like a straightforward Tarantino movie, and I think that's another contributing factor. Like, that kind of, it broke the whole vibe a little bit.
I think it was filmed in, like, Austin, wasn't it?
I think the first half of it was.
Because I could see Big Red signs everywhere.
Oh yeah, Big Red is like a huge, it's a huge thing here in Texas.
Yeah.
Like we love our Big Red. I personally don't drink it anymore. I think it's a little too thick and syrupy, and I don't know. It's something that red that doesn't taste like a fruit just doesn't sit well with me. You know, and I know as like I'm a Texan who doesn't drink Big Red. I don't go to Whataburger, and you know I don't wear a cowboy hat, so. Snapbacks all the way.
There we go.
There we go, right? And Robert's just like, I'm just going to go with the long hair James Dean look.
There we go.
Yeah. There we
Danny
go.
Trejo.
Danny Trejo.
Modern day version.
We got to go arrest the bad man known as Stanley. The deputies took the pistols. They laid them on the shelf. If you want that bad man Stagger Lee, you have to arrest him yourself. The high sheriff asked the bartender.
And where do you two disappear to? I had to get something out of the car. Nate was gentlemanly enough to escort me with his umbrella.
Good for you, Nate.
You see that pretty girl sitting by herself at the bar?
Who, the dirty hippie?
Yeah, she's not a hippie.
She might as well be a hippie.
Thank you, Timmy boy. Well, do you know what just happened to her?
No, but I know she's a skinny, fake, blonde bitch. Oh, I'm sorry. You were telling a story? What about her?
Hey, Warren! Is there anybody in this place you could vouch for to give me a ride home?
Fair lady, your chariot awaits.
You've been eavesdropping?
Eavesdropping and can't help it here. I think I belong in the latter category.
So, icy hot. You offering me a ride home?
I'm offering you a lift. If, when I'm ready to leave, you are too.
And when are you thinking about leaving?
Truthfully, I'm not thinking about it. When I do, you will be the first to know.
Will you be able to, drive later?
I know looks can be deceiving. But I'm a teetotaler. I've been drinking club soda and lime all night, and now I'm building up to my big drink.
Which is what?
Virgin Pina Colada.
Okay. Why would someone who doesn't drink spend hours at a bar drinking water?
You know, a bar offers all kind of things other than alcohol.
Really? Like what?
Women. Nacho Grande platters. The fellowship of some fascinating individuals like Warren here. Alcohol is just a lubricant for all the individual encounters that a bar room offers.
Ooh, is that cowboy wisdom?
I'm not a cowboy, Pam. I'm a stuntman. But that's a very easy mistake to make.
How do you know my name?
When you were talking with Warren, couldn't help but overhear.
Fair enough. So what's your name, Icy?
Stuntman Mike.
Stuntman Mike's your name.
You ask anybody.
Hey, Warren. Who is this guy?
Stuntman Mike.
And who the hell is Stuntman Mike?
He's Stuntman.
But a lot of the genre shift in this movie is influenced by the two entirely different groups of women that are present in this film. The first half, they are played very much like traditional horror movie characters in a way. So, I think that's why the characters are a little more, they're cattier, they're a little more prudish with each other. They're a lot more quick to shame each other for being sexually open in any way, or even not being sexually open enough. It's kind of weird. There's like that dual angle of shaming going on there, but, and Jungle Julia, she's very upfront with her sexuality. Yes. She's just like, she just doesn't give a fuck, and she even tries to get Butterfly laid on the radio. Yeah, because it's like, it's a girl with a butterfly tattoo. Come and hit her up.
Tramp stamps.
Tramp stamps or something like that. It's kind of a dick move. I'd be kind of pissed if I had a friend that did that to me on the radio. I'd be like, oh God, are you kidding me? It's like, I'm going to be... But then she's not necessarily flooded with people trying to hook up with her. Maybe she's kind of visibly bummed out by that a little bit, she was kind of expecting to have to beat them back a little bit, and then when that doesn't happen, she ends up giving Kurt Russell a striptease.
Right.
Goddamn stuntman Mike. It's like, and that's kind of a sleazy moment,
Get a couple of shooters into her.
But the reason that she did that is because they were ragging on her for not being sexually open enough, kind of, which is very weird in that context, Yeah. And that's why she does that. And it's like, well, damn, girl. It's like, you had some principles before. Whatever, do whatever you want with yourself, but it's like, whatevs, it's just more of I chalk that up to just Tarantino's shoddy writing on this one. He didn't really write the women characters well. But of course, that kind of goes in line with the whole Grindhouse thing as well. Female characters, they weren't represented very well back then.
Yeah.
Still not in many ways.
This was 2007.
Yeah, this was 2007, but it definitely evoked that sleazy, grimy 70s vibe when it came to like how it approached the women.
Yeah.
In the female characters, But in the end, the women who have the least amount of camaraderie and the most amount of cattiness towards each other, they're kind of underhanded. They end up getting killed, in a very brutal way, and which pretty much subverts where you think the movie is going. And that's where you shift into the carsploitation element, and you slip into Zoe Bell's group of women.
Yeah.
You know, her group of friends. You know,
I don't think he knew what he was getting himself into.
definitely
The
not.
second group of girls. Yeah.
It's like, I mean, that first diner scene, for one, like I said, it starts feeling more like a Tarantino film because that's pretty much like Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah.
And Pulp Fiction. I mean, there's always
Pulp Fiction.
There's always some moment in his movies where his characters are in a goddamn diner and they're talking about shit.
John Travolta and with Thurman dancing.
Yeah,
Right?
it always ends up that way. I don't understand what this predilection is with diners and shit. And of course, the first half of the movie happens in a dive bar, which is pretty much like a diner, just with a bar in it. But yeah, it always seems to go back to diners with him. It's like that. That's a weird little motif. But anyway, I mean, Zoe Bell and her friends, they have similar aspects to them that the first group of women had, but also very different. Like, they do seem to have a slightly stronger friendship with each other. Like, they don't seem to be very nearly as prudish toward each other. Like, I mean, they're not going to shame each other for their sex lives.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that the cheerleader girl, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, I believe,
Yeah.
like, she even openly admits to letting her boyfriend pee on her. It's like, well,
Jesus Christ. Yeah.
okay. It's not treated as anything weird. It's just like, well, all right then. It's just,
One of those
that's
fetishes.
just your thing. It's like, whatever. You know, it's not treated as something to be freaked out about.
No.
Now, the first group of women, Jungle Julia's friends, they would have been like, ew, what the hell? You're so gross. Ew. Or they're like, you're not being gross enough. Can't fucking figure that shit out, apparently. But I mean, yeah, I mean, even so, they're still kind of assholes toward each other, kind of, Zoe Bell and her friends.
They're
But
almost like dudes, right?
yeah, in a way, they're almost like dudes. Yeah, but I mean, I think that's what makes them a little more realistic,
Yeah.
kind of. You just kind of act like assholes towards your friends.
Yeah.
Here in America, that's just how we do it generally. I mean, not all the time. I mean, I like to think I'm only an asshole like 30% of the time here with you,
Yeah.
at least. And that's being generous.
Yeah. With me, I'm just putting on an act, too. I'm not really an asshole.
Oh, I mean, for real, man. But yeah, I mean, that aspect is kind of realistic in its own right. It's not anything that's too out of line for American audiences. You know, I mean, but even then, I mean, in order to be able to drive the Challenger, the Vanishing Point car, you know, they pretty much give up old girl as a collateral, pretty much, while they go and drive this fucking car, all three of them. And it's like, and like I said earlier, I think that there is something kind of symbolic there, you know, because she is what would typically be the quintessential exploitation character, you know, like she's completely open to that exploitation as a character, but it never happens to her. Like even though she's left with kind of a sleazy redneck type, you know, according to Quentin Tarantino, nothing happens between them. I mean, he pretty much just goes back to his chores. At least that's his head canon, which pretty much makes it official canon.
We don't see anything else after that.
We don't see anything else that happens to her. Like there are a lot of audiences thought that she was eventually raped, and they were just like, "Well, that's kind of fucked up. They just left her to be raped to go drive a fucking car." But
fuck that guy's car up, dude.
no, I mean, I don't think that that's what happened either.
No.
I honestly don't think so. It's like, I think that she probably just chilled there. He was probably just like, well, there's sodas in the fridge or beer in the fridge if you want one. It's like, and just went along his merry way. Maybe got a signature from her because she is an actress.
Oh yeah.
You know, maybe got an autograph.
I think he knew who she was already.
He knew who she was. I mean, because Rosario Dawson tries to pass her off as a porn star.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can kind of tell, like, he's just like, oh, I know who this is. He's like, I mean, shit, I know who this is. This ain't no small shit. But I mean, that camaraderie also plays into the car chase. You know, I mean, if they weren't so tight a unit, I mean, I doubt that Zoe Bell and company would have survived that. Their friendship is what pretty much gets them through that whole segment, that whole chase.
Family of stunt women, right?
Yeah, it's like they're pretty much family. It's like that's really what it is. They're just a little mini family, which makes them a little more compelling than the characters from the first one. Who, yeah, they're friends, but you kind of feel like they're just more or less close acquaintances. You know?
Yeah, they weren't really badasses either.
No, they weren't badasses. They weren't close with each other. They were just. It was just a social circle for them.
It's like,
you know,
a couple of friends barely know each other on the open road.
Yeah. I mean, and Zoe Bell and her friends. I mean, they actually they're nerding out on the same thing. They're on the same wavelength. You know, they wanted to drive the Vanishing Point car because it's the Vanishing Point car.
Zoe Bell the whole time. There's a Dodge Challenger somewhere.
There's a Dodge Challenger somewhere.
I'm gonna
Exactly.
drive it.
I mean, yeah, and they just totally nerd out on it first. You know, but then Stuntman Mike comes along and just fucks it all up for them, and they have to fight for their lives.
69 Charger. That's Toretto's car.
Yeah.
Vin Diesel uses that one.
Oh yeah. In Fast and the Furious.
All the movies. Yeah.
Oh man, we need to do the first Fast and the Furious here pretty soon.
He's got a supercharger sticking out of the hood.
Oh fuck yeah, man.
You got to see that.
Oh hell yeah, dude. I mean, Too Fast, Too Furious. That's like one of my favorite all-time dumb movies like ever.
Too Fast, Too Furious. Yeah.
Too Fast, Too Furious. It's such a stupid movie, but I really, really love it.
Yeah.
I really fucking love it. I mean, it's just stupid enough to work, and for some reason, Tequila is there. Her Nazi ass. I mean, you know she's a Nazi now, right?
Is she?
Yeah, she's pretty much a Nazi.
Yeah, Ludacris, his first time acting too.
Ludacris. Luda.
Tyrese Gibson, which is a great actor.
Oh man, yeah, Tyrese ends up sticking with the movies from that point on, right?
Yeah, he's in every one of them.
Yeah, wasn't he kind of bitching and complaining about The Rock being introduced into the cast or something? Like,
yeah,
he was complaining about him and Statham getting their own Fast and Furious movie.
Jesus, yeah. I mean, they had to remake the Fast Six because I think Paul Walker died or something.
Yeah, Paul Walker died, and so they went ahead and brought. Who did they bring on after that?
They introduced Scott Eastwood, right? Clint Eastwood's boy.
Yeah, and wasn't that where The Rock came in as well?
Yeah, he came in like the Fast, the Furious, and like the Fast Five, you know.
Yeah.
That.
But yeah, I mean, back to Death Proof, of course.
Death Proof.
You know, yeah, I mean, the Zoe Bell and her friends, it's like they totally rock. Rosario Dawson is awesome. What's the name of the girl who with the curly hair? What's the name? What's her name? I mean, in the movie, her name is Kim. I don't know what the actress's name was, but I mean, yeah, I mean, they're very much the pillar of that entire last act of the film. You know, I mean, they pretty much propel that. And that's fucking awesome. All right, Robert just showed me some pictures off of Wikipedia. What is her name?
I'm not sure. Which curly hair girl are you talking about?
She's the girl who was driving the Challenger at the end of the movie.
Oh, Tracy Toms.
Yeah. I think that's her.
Okay, I was looking at this one. Jungle Julie. Sorry.
But yeah, isn't it awesome how at the end of the movie how they turn everything back on Stuntman Mike? Yeah. Like we said, you know, they crash into her. And they crash into him. Excuse me. It's very reminiscent of when Stuntman Mike kills Jungle Julia and her friends. And then they end up just beating the fuck out of him, don't they?
They turn it all around on him.
Oh, they just beat the shit out of him. I mean, and he's just a simpering coward. I mean, he's just like, no, don't do it. And they just beat him until he stops moving, pretty much, right?
With the final kick at the end.
That final kick. Oh, yeah, Rosario Dawson's axe kick. Oh, man, that was every level of badass you can think of.
That's Booker T style, right? With an
Booker T style ass kick.
Axe kicking.
Ass kick. It's straight ass kick.
Axed.
Ass kick. Ass kicking, axe kick.
Squish his face right into the pavement.
Straight up, just caved it in.
Like a grapefruit exploded.
Hell yeah, man. I mean, well, yeah, he deserved it. It's like, I mean, he's a fucking serial killer.
Her heel right into his face.
Yeah, and she was wearing shit kickers, right? She was wearing boots?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be stomped with the heel of a boot, man. That sucks, man. But I mean, yeah, that's after he just terrified these women, you know, completely. You know, drove them off the road, damn near killed Zoe Bell. I mean, they were pissed, and rightfully so. I mean, right, Robert?
Yeah.
I mean, that was just insane. But yeah, that axe kick, damn, man, that was just satisfying. Really, really, really satisfying shit, you know?
Death proof.
Death proof. Exactly. Exactly.
Just pretty much building the car to where it's death proof.
Yeah. I mean, like we said before, it's an interesting murder weapon, you know, which becomes an interesting set piece for a car chase. I mean, Quentin Tarantino, he really did try to make a real love letter to the genre here. I think he succeeded in some ways, and in other ways, he failed to hit the mark. I mean, personally, I think he succeeded more in the carsploitation element than he did in the horror element, right?
Yeah.
He succeeded in that element a little more.
I mean, it was a great ending. I mean,
it really was, and a great half of the film. But like I said, I kind of wish that would have just been the movie, like maybe make the horror part of it like a separate movie, and then make this the sequel to that.
Yeah,
I kind of feel like that's what should have happened here, and let Robert Rodriguez release Planet Terror in his own time, you know, which is it's a good movie. I like Planet Terror. You know, goopy zombie dudes is pretty fucked up, and Jeff Bridges. I mean,
Jeff Bridges, an old actor too.
Yeah, he was in that movie. Bruce Willis was in that movie as well. And wasn't Michael Madsen in there as well? Yeah, Michael Madsen. He was on the what was it? He was in Sin City. I think Rodriguez and Miller co-directed that one.
First since Jesus, that movie's crazy.
But I'm trying to remember if he was in because Quentin Tarantino was also in Planet Terror.
Wasn't Mickey Rourke in there too? I was like,
yeah, I want to say he is
Mickey Rourke,
somewhere.
Yeah,
along the line. Who was he though?
One of the bad guys, right?
Yeah,
Mickey
he was one of the soldiers, right?
Yeah, whole thing shot in black and white, right?
I don't think the whole thing was shot in black and white. I think a lot of it was in color. I remember that distinctly, and that movie at least kept up the grindhouse feel throughout the entirety of the film. You know, I mean, at least it kind of kept that element up. I mean, not like Quentin Tarantino did here, where he just pretty much started off with the grindhouse conceit and then just ended up making a Tarantino movie.
Kind of veers off into the 70s for car chasing stunts.
Yeah, he does. I mean, he veers off entirely from the grindhouse feel. I mean, the look, the clicks, the pops, all that shit, it just goes completely down the tubes as soon as the other group of women are introduced. So, but yeah, I mean, I think Tarantino, he may have missed the mark here a little bit. But, I mean, it's a fine movie. I say it's fine. If I wanted to rate this, I would probably rate it probably a soft 3 out of 5.
3 out of 5.
What do you think?
Probably around the same. I mean, I do love the movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's an entertaining film, but I mean, to me, it's not anything that you would really want to like put on casually, you know, because the dialogue alone makes it something that you kind of have to pay attention to, like even more so than something like Pulp Fiction, which I don't know, that movie is real easy to get through.
Yeah.
Like cinematically, like as far as dialogue is concerned.
A lot of talking. That's what Tarantino does, right?
It's what he does, but in this movie, I mean, it just falls flat. It absolutely falls flat, even within the grindhouse context. It's just like everybody just ends up sounding like Tarantino after a while, you know? And he kind of tempered it down a little bit in some of his other movies, like Inglourious Bastards. You know, I mean, he tempered it down. But that was more so it would fit in line with like World War II movies.
I don't know if you've seen the original Inglourious Bastards.
I actually have the original Inglourious Bastards, and I have
the
Tarantino's
Brad Pitt one.
Yeah, the original. It's pretty much a standard warsploitation movie. You know, I mean, it's got some interesting scenes in it. I guess it's been a while since I actually sat down and watched it.
It's nothing like the remake.
No. But it does have that grindhouse quality to it. I mean, there were war movies that showed up in the grindhouse cinema from time to time. And then, I mean, that was one of them. I mean, warsploitation. I mean, and also, I guess, Nazi-sploitation kind of falls into that a little bit. Like, that's really what Inglourious Bastards is invoking, is Nazi-sploitation.
And Jews.
Yeah, and warsploitation and stuff like that. But, I mean, here, this was definitely, it was a misstep, but a glorious one. That's what I'll call it.
Glorious.
A glorious misstep. Wouldn't you say so?
You know what? Yeah, I don't think it's half bad either.
Yeah, it's watchable, I guess. I mean, if we put it on right now, I would sit down and watch the whole thing. But I just couldn't see myself watching it again for a very long time afterwards, and you know, it just falls flat like that. Like I could watch Pulp Fiction multiple times. I could watch Inglourious Bastards
from Dusk
multiple
Till Dawn.
times. Yeah,
Over
from
and
Dusk Till
over.
Dawn. Oh man, that's
Over and over again.
great movie. I mean, Tarantino's an excellent actor in that film.
George Clooney, Tarantino.
And that was it's easy to forget that Clooney made an awesome little genre film like that, you know, and it worked, you know. I mean, him and Tarantino have a great vibe between each other as characters and as actors. They have chemistry.
Danny Trejo and Chong were in there.
Danny Trejo, like Cheech Marin.
There you go. Cheech was in there.
Yeah, he was great in that movie. Man, I gotta love Cheech Marin, and he was also in Desperado.
Desperado, yeah.
With Antonio Banderas and Salma Hayek.
Yeah, there you go.
That's a movie we got to feature on the podcast eventually, because I actually have a lot of love for that movie.
Desperado, yeah.
It's one of those early R-rated films that when we were kids we watched
over and over
again. You know, thinking it was like, oh, it's so badass and adult and everything. It's really kind of tame in comparison to some of the stuff out there like nowadays, but it's definitely a worthy movie, and we should probably do Planet Terror sometime. Like, I mean, it would be worth it, you know. I mean, Death Proof. I mean, that was just one half of the experience. And maybe also we'll talk about some of the trailers next time.
Yeah.
You know, like Hobo with a Shotgun and Machete. Those ended up being made into movies.
Machete.
But also they had Don't. That was by Edgar Wright. I mean, there was the whole Nazi werewolf thing with Rob Zombie.
Machine Gun Girl.
And also Thanksgiving. The Thanksgiving one that Eli Roth did.
Jeez.
Yeah, we'll get into detail of those another time. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and wrap things up here. I had a lot of fun discussing this movie, even though this is the first episode that we've done where we haven't really watched the movie beforehand. But I like I said, I saw it first run with the whole Grindhouse experience. Robert, you saw it many times. So, I mean, we had enough memory of this movie to kind of get through it, you know. And also, YouTube videos help.
Yeah, reviews help a lot. Yeah.
They definitely help a whole hell of a lot. But, I mean, yeah, this movie's fine. I mean, go ahead and watch it. If you're into Tarantino films, definitely watch it.
If you're into horror movies.
If you're into horror movies or in your cars, yeah.
There you go.
Definitely. But the next movie that we are taking on is another kind of cult classic midnight movie that launched the career of an awesome filmmaker. And of course, I'm talking about one David Lynch. Yes, we are going to talk about Eraserhead on the next episode. I mean, Robert, you haven't seen this movie.
No, I haven't.
Like, what do you know of Eraserhead?
Nothing really.
Oh, yeah. And I think we're going to go ahead and get the Chancellor brothers in on this because it'll be funny to watch them react to it.
I'm sure they have a lot to say about it.
Oh, man, that'll be hilarious. That'll be so funny. Because this is a movie that has some pretty intense imagery in it. You know, very intense, very personal film for David Lynch. But we'll definitely get into it. It's definitely a mind fuck. It's something that is open to a lot of analysis, a lot of different interpretations. And I think that we'll have some fun with it. Like, really. What do you think, Robert? You think you're going to have fun with something like that?
Yeah, I just need to know what it is first.
Oh, yeah. You will know. You will know. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps it up. Death Proof, that's our movie for today. Support us on Patreon. We have a Patreon page up, patreon.com/@ccinemapodcast. Or I think it might be @ccinema. Either one of those. Just go on Patreon, find us, become a patron. Like, we're going to start putting film commentaries on there soon. We're going to start doing interviews with indie filmmakers. Hopefully, maybe some YouTube personalities, I don't know, and some other podcasters.
Hopefully in the near future.
Hopefully in the near future. Some other movie podcasters just to talk about film and whatnot. And also, we're going to have other exclusive Q&A sessions. You know, we're going to have some live streams up there that you can only find on the $5, $10 level. So, yeah, definitely find us on Patreon. You can also find us on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We're on Podbean. We're on Stitcher, YouTube, we're on Tumblr, and we're on WordPress. And we're on Google Play as well. Definitely check us out on all of those platforms. Did I say YouTube?
Yes, you did.
I said YouTube. Yeah, definitely check us out on YouTube. Our YouTube needs more love, and we're probably going to start putting some actual videos up on there pretty soon.
Yeah, we will be.
Yeah, so we will have our own little mini review segment on YouTube. And also coming up soon, we will have our next indie movie review. We might as well go ahead and announce that. We are going to be checking out a Troma film called Hectic Knife, which will be really, really interesting. I can't wait for that. Troma films are kind of in a league of their own.
The shit.
They are the shit, man. I'm actually psyched to be checking one out straight from the filmmaker. Like, that's really cool. Really, really cool. We're looking forward to that. But yeah, I mean, check us out on the aforementioned podcast apps and whatnot. Find us on Patreon. Please support us. We're trying to go weekly with this. I mean, that would be really cool.
If we can. Yeah.
If we can. And also look for some short films by yours truly and Mr. Robert Ortegon here pretty soon.
Hopefully you guys can check it out.
Yeah, we're going to have it up on the Collateral Cinema Facebook and Twitter feeds here pretty soon.
And then I'll start my own page soon.
Yeah, definitely, Robert.
Yeah,
we'll all be looking forward to that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. Thank you for all the 320 downloads. We love each and every one of our listeners. Please come back next episode. Eraserhead, Collateral Cinema, out.
Bye, everyone.
Yeah. Collateral Cinema is an L Company production. All music and movie clips are owned by their respective creators. Please don't sue us. We're poor.